Have you been clickbaited? I have, I know for sure. Clickbaiting is a very common, while unpleasant, experience we all have on social media. The title and the thumbnail don't correspond with the actual material of the video or post that we want to see or read. It is quite annoying at times. But did you know that clickbaiting, like we see it on social media, is not the only version of clickbaiting that actually exists? Howdy ho. So, you've been clickbaited. Or some. Clickbaiting technically only exists on the internet and in social media. Because clickbait is click, and you don't get what you want. But it turns out that clickbaiting, or the principle of clickbaiting, is way more widespread than just what we see on the internet. One other very common form of clickbaiting is more known in the advertising community. We might call it bait and switch. False advertising definitely are part of this. So you might see an ad that promises, we have this item at a wonderfully low price. And you go to the store, and what you don't find at the store? That item, and most certainly not at that price. What happened though? Well, when you read the small print of the ad, because there's legal limitations to what we can promise, in the small print you will most likely find something that says, while supplies last, and or limited quantities. Nobody ever reads the small print. It's a big picture and the big number and a date or time, and that is the only things we really care about, right? So we are drawn into that place and we show up. And limited supplies, what does that even mean? Limited supplies could be that they only have 10 of said item, which sell out in the first hour. Or, worst case scenario, all of them get bought by staff and none of them by customers. But if you come to the store in the afternoon or evening, you will always be out of luck. But you made the decision to go to that store, hoping to get that item. But while you're there, you will buy something else. So the clickbait, or the bait and switch in this case, is sometimes that you have something specifically for lower quantities, but it's also a way to encourage people to come to your store instead of the store of the competition. Because if you can choose between two different locations, you might go to the one where you think you have a chance of getting a deal, even if you're not sure if you're actually gonna get it. Which is all that the store really wants. They want to make sure you show up, and once you're there, they know you're gonna buy something. But that is not the last one of where we have an environment of clickbait. There is I want to say old one, I'm not sure how common it is these days. There used to be the term jailbait. What is jailbait? Jailbait is, generally speaking, underaged people, mostly girls, dressing up in clothing, makeup and hair and perfume and all the things to make themselves appear of older age, at a minimum old enough to get into a club or bar without being questioned. Now, this may have been more an old-fashioned thing with bouncers not necessarily checking IDs. I mean, many people do have fake IDs in that age group. It turns out, for some reason, well, at least we weren't able to scan the IDs. You know, technology has made this a little bit harder. But generally, the idea was to be able to get in and do things you were not allowed yet to do and, you know, have a good time. But the problem with that was not just that you were trying to have a good time, but often the environment of having a good time led also to, let's just say, young gentleman of proper age. It doesn't always have to be a old, pervy type of guy, right? It could be a 21-year-old dude seeing a nice-looking girl, not knowing or realizing that she might be under the age, even if it's only by a year or two, which doesn't sound dramatic, but is still illegal, can get him into trouble. So jailbait used to be, while not common, it used to be common in that particular industry kind of line, because young girls wanted to get in and have a good time. A more modern version of jailbait is what we can observe on social media again. This time, let's look at dating apps. All of these different filters that can make us appear in so many different ways. If I was good with one of those apps to make beautiful filters, I could make this handsome gentleman look like an 18-year-old who's desired by all them hot chicks out there. There's an idea. But seriously, with all the filters, right, and it's mostly women, but men are falling into this category too. You know, first you use makeup to make yourself look better, right? Makeup is supposed to enhance your beautiful features and hide some of the negative ones. And on top of that, when you use filters, you can do even better. So anything you weren't able to do with makeup, you can do with filters and any kind of picture manipulation on appropriate program. This increases your chances of finding a mate, maybe a permanent one, maybe a temporary one, or at least someone for a night, or maybe just someone for a coffee date, depending on your goals and how you click. However, many times, or at least one person in that equation is not exactly thrilled about what they are finding, because the person that is being advertised does not actually look like that in real life. It's a bait and switch. It's a clickbait. It's false advertising. You're advertising yourself in a excessive form that is unrealistic. No one has any problems with some sprucing up. But when it gets to a point where you're almost unrecognizable to your real self, especially without any kind of makeup and fancy clothing and hairdos, there's usually a problem, because men in particular don't like it. But you know what? Women don't like it either. Look at the bio. Look at the stats we put in. Oh, age, height, location of living, job, income, hobbies. All of the things we put into our profiles for dating apps are mild versions of clickbaiting. Right? We often take something that is actually not good and rephrase it so it's technically still true, but not what is implied, which is very difficult. So true but not implied. It's, if I say I work at Goldman & Sachs, I could be working at Goldman & Sachs. I could be cleaning the bathrooms. Technically, I could be working for a outsourced company that is having Goldman & Sachs as a customer. So because I'm working for this company, I might be going to Goldman & Sachs on a regular basis. So I just say, yeah, I work at Goldman & Sachs. Sounds impressive. Cleaning bathrooms for XYZ cleaning company. No truth. So we encounter a version of clickbait, bait and switch, and all of the good things on a regular basis, every day. There is even an old saying, it says, fake it until you make it. So there is an aspect to it where we say, well, you've got to try to fit into that in order to be accepted by that. And often you might try to fit into that before you actually qualify, which makes acceptance easier. So we're going to see this throughout our lives almost on a daily basis. And there is one offender that is worse than all of these. And you know who that offender is? I want to give you a hint, but I think if I give you a hint, it's going to give it away immediately. The biggest offender is you. Yes, you. You are the single biggest offender to the clickbait world. But don't worry, it's not so much that you are clickbaiting others, it's more that you're clickbaiting yourself. Think about New Year's resolutions. What is a basic set of New Year's resolutions that the majority of people who make New Year's resolutions actually make? Oh, New Year. I want to live healthier. I want to eat better. I want to lose some weight. And I want to go to the gym often. Sounds good, right? Yeah, but it doesn't actually. Because the problem with this is, and this is where you're clickbaiting yourself, you're making general statements about a goal without being specific for either the actual number, let's say losing weight. You don't have an actual number of how much weight you want to lose, and you don't have an actual time period and beginning to end that you can hold yourself accountable for. If you just say, oh, I want to lose some weight because we have just been through the holidays, I gained some weight. It's like you don't say how much weight you want to lose. Maybe you say, oh, I want to fit back into my summer pants. All right, I guess it's kind of a goal, but it's still not that specific because you don't have a proper starting weight, except for don't fit in and fit in. But how are you going to hold yourself accountable? You'd have to take additional measures. So, we do clickbaiting to ourselves all day long. And this kind of clickbaiting habit is what derails the majority of our goals. Because when you have a goal that is not clearly defined, you also can't make a very clearly defined plan. And without a plan, you can't hold yourself accountable. And with accountability, maybe this week, maybe next week. That's why the majority of New Year's resolutions dies out somewhere between week 4 and week 8. In February, essentially. So how do you avoid clickbaiting yourself? Well, let me give you 4 examples out of my own life, because these are the goals that I have for this year. So, goal number 1 on how I'm trying to not clickbait myself. Goal number 1 is going to be van life related. As you might know, I live inside of a van. So, first, we want to take inventory of what we already have. And let me just list them off real quick. I bought a van in March. I put a floor in April. I added sidewalls. I added a bed platform. I installed solar panels on the roof. And I added at least 2 pieces of furniture. I think that is already a pretty good progress for van life. It is livable. I mean, I've been living in this van since April of last year. So what are my goals though? Well, I'm going to limit my goals to just 4 things for the year. The van very clearly needs way more than just 4 improvements. But the more things I put on my list, the more things I'm going to get distracted with, or not do the important ones and only concentrate on the minor ones. So what are my 4 improvements I want to do this year in my van? Fairly simple. Number one is I want to make window covers. This can be very straightforward. It does not have to be fancy, permanent, removable is fine. But window covers, this will give me more privacy, keep the light out, might improve my sleep or life, and it does look less shabby, hopefully, than the paint that is on my windows currently. Number 2, my electrical system is lacking. In particular, I'm using a solar generator. Now, the solar generator is actually quite wonderful. However, I'm having 2 major problems with it. The problems are not enough capacity. I could buy a bigger one if I want to. Or second problem is in the winter time, when the temperature is close to freezing, it's not recommended to charge lithium batteries. So what's my solution? The solution is to build a appropriate electrical system with real batteries, a larger battery bank at that, with insulation and a heat source. So I'll never have to worry about the temperature of the batteries themselves, even if it's cold outside. The curtains I want to do in February, which is coming right up. The electrical I want to do in March or April. It depends on the outside temperatures. It needs to be warm enough so that I can actually clean out some stuff and do work, because it's going to be going under my bed, do the work down there. So it depends heavily on the weather, but it's the first thing really after the curtains that I need to do. Number 3, I want to install a fan in the roof. A roof vent fan is going to be essential for better airflow, especially in the summertime when it gets warm and humid. This place here gets very, very warm in the summer because the sun beats down on it. But just having a proper roof vent, circulating air, can improve this dramatically. Obviously, for a roof vent fan, I need electricity to run it. That is why the fan is number 3. And number 4 is going to be a heater. Now you would think, why would you want to put a heater in the summer, kind of? I was like, well, it's too late now for the heater. It turns out that the heater that I picked out also requires a small amount of electricity. So I need that electricity from that new battery bank, which I don't have yet, which is why I'm not using that heater this winter. Now, if I had a proper heater, I wouldn't have to delay any of the other work, because I could stay nice and warm and cozy while doing some of that work. But those are the 4 things I want to do, and I want to get them done by July 1st. So we're having curtains in February, the electrical in March, April, the roof vent in May, and the heater in June. Very specific items, very specific timetable. This is how I hold myself accountable. Next goal, number 2. As you may know as well, if you have watched my channel, I'm on the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet is awesome. I really enjoy it. But I am not getting the results yet that I quite want. December was a bad month. However, even with that bad month, over the last year, I lost anywhere between 37 and 57 pounds. The first 2 months, I did not weigh myself, so I don't have a proper reference point. But in the 5th month, I gained 3 pounds back when I should have been losing weight. So based on some deductions and assumptions, my total weight loss for the year is still roughly 37 pounds. What is my goal? My goal is I want to get my weight below 300 pounds. And I want to do that by July 1st. So my current weight on January 3rd was 346 pounds. So I would need to lose 47 pounds to get below 300 over a 6-month time period. It comes out to somewhere around just slightly over 8 pounds a month. Absolutely doable if I do the right thing. and the right thing we will do. So starting rate 346, end rate 299, time period 6 months. Intermittent goal sets, £8 per month. Doable? I think so. I just need to hold myself accountable. By dividing the larger period of time into smaller segments, I can ensure that I stay on track. Even if one of the months I might be below what I need for the monthly, maybe another month, the following months, I can put more effort in to get a result that is slightly larger. So I can balance this out over time, always holding myself accountable to a very specific goal. All right, goal number 3. My third goal for the year is finance related, personal finance. Again, take an inventory. At the end of October, early November of 22, I totaled my car, which put me into a tailspin of minor depression and anxiety as far as work was related. Also cost me a lot of money. Subsequently, I started to earn less because I was not putting in the work that I needed to put in, and I dug myself a deep hole of debt. How deep of a hole? Well, several $10,000s. Specifically, I have debt on 2 credit cards, both maxed out, and because I needed to create an artificial bottom for myself, I did not file my taxes because I used my tax money to build that financial bottom. Now, by the end of the year, I had finally bottomed out with my slide down, which is good. And by Christmas, I paid off the smaller one of my 2 credit cards. So that is what I'm dealing with. I have state income taxes for 2 years that I need to pay. I have federal income taxes for 2 years that I need to pay. And I have 1 credit card that I still need to pay. I won't know my tax debt until I actually file my taxes this year. Now, last year, I had money saved for 22, which I used to build my bottom, but in 23 I did not save any money for 23. So I'm literally short money for 2 years of income taxes. Not good. So what I'm doing right now, starting first week of January, I've been trying to save money, work more, save money, so that by the time I file my taxes, at a minimum, and I'm filing my taxes by April 1st somehow, that at that moment I will be able to at least pay my state taxes for 2 years. And then depending on how much I have left over, I will have to make some kind of arrangement with the IRS to pay my federal taxes off over a period of time. But I want to get that resolved this year. This needs to be done ASAP. But April 1st is when I find out what the actual damage is. And by that time, I want to have saved up enough so that I can at least service my state taxes. So I have a fairly specific goal. Once the taxes are taken care of, including a payment arrangement, you don't want to overburden yourself on the payment arrangement. You want to make sure you pay it off quickly, but you don't want to be so high that you can't keep up with it. Right? But once I know those numbers, then I can also decide of if I have extra money, how much I can allocate towards the credit card. So while I'm having a very specific goal, I don't actually have the proper plan until I've actually filed for those taxes. But that is the financial goal for the year. Get 100% out of debt, and if possible, at the end of that, maybe save a couple of dollars. Goal number 4. My goal number 4 is YouTube related. You know, the place where you find me and watch me. So, what do we have to say about YouTube? Well, again, let's take inventory of what we have first, right? Being accountable. Okay, we started a YouTube channel in April of 2023. Since then, we have made in 23 over 100 videos. I think 101. We have also gained about 170 subscribers. And I can guarantee you that none of them has been a friend or family member. But not only that, we have also had roughly 800 watch hours. Just think about that, 800 watch hours. That's a lot of time. But this is of course divided over somewhere around 26,000 views of my videos. So that is what we are having. I have learned a lot about YouTube over the last 100 videos, and I have been trying to learn from that. So for the new year, what is my goal? Well, very specifically, I want to improve my video quality, keep them more interesting and faster paced. Make them shorter. That is on the production side. What kind of results am I hoping to get out of that? Well, the two best metrics for the success of whatever kind of change I'm making are based in this number of subscribers and the number of watch hours. You might think that views are more important than watch hours. They will be at a later point, but for right now, watch time is a more important metrics. So, what do I want to gain in specifics? Let's say by July or August 1st. Let's say August 1st. So by August 1st, I want, as a goal, to increase my subscriber base from 170 to 1,000. I would also like to increase the watch time from 800 to 4,000. Now this sounds like really massively increasing numbers, and kind of they are, but there should somehow be a little bit of a snowball effect involved. Obviously, when I made my first video, no one knew there was a video. Now I already have a little bit of an audience who might want to watch what I'm making in the future. So 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. Now, over the month of January, I have already increased my subscribers from 170 to 206. That is a 20% increase in just 1 month. Not only that, my watch time has also increased from around 800 to about 1,000. So that's an increase of about 25%. So I feel that even if I make fewer videos, if the video quality is better, if the pace is better, if the thumbnails get slightly better, and if the titles get somewhat better, that I should be able to increase both of those numbers to the desired levels. So if you feel like rewatching all of my videos, perhaps you're gonna binge watch all 100 of them from the beginning, you would be contributing a tremendous amount to my success. In particular, getting the watch time up. And of course, if you're sharing the videos with your family and friends and your social circle, be that on email, social media, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever, the more people will get exposed to it, and someone might actually enjoy the content, watch the videos, and subscribe. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Now, why do I use those specific numbers, 1,000 and 4,000? The specific numbers are based on the fact that at that moment, I can apply to have my YouTube channel monetized. Ooh, yes, I said that dirty word, monetized. I want to make money with YouTube. Would you believe it? Why would I do that? Well, the end goal is to eventually be able to scale back on the regular job and put more time into YouTube videos. The more time you have to spend on them, the better they should be able to get. Right now, my time is extremely limited. So if I can make a few dollars from YouTube, I can justify slowing down a little bit from the regular work. So it's one goes down, one goes up. Or rather, one goes up first and then the other one goes down. So that is kind of like the goal here, at least for this year, by August 1st. And this, my friends, is how I'm planning on holding myself accountable, so I'm not doing the bait and switch, the clickbait, to myself and my own goals. Specific goal, time frame, intermittent result expectations. Without that, I cannot reach my goals, and I will feel that I've been working on my goals without getting the results that I need for my goals. And that would make me tremendously miserable. And it's the number one reason why a lot of people either fail, give up, or simply believe that society makes life so difficult that it's literally impossible for any normal person to reach any of their goals. The reality, though, is that you are clickbaiting yourself into believing you do what is necessary to do. So stop clickbaiting yourself. Become proactive. Be specific with your goal, with your time frame, with a plan, with intermittent results. Hold yourself accountable. And anyone and anything that will distract you or hold you back from your goals, you have to put all of that, or them, the people, to the side, at least for a period of time, until you can achieve the thing that you're trying to achieve. And those are my clickbait goals for 2024. Do you have any clickbait goals for yourself? And what is your method of dealing with them? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.